All right, everybody, welcome into another post-game show here. Philadelphia Eagles finally find a win in the last 4 weeks, 33-25. Merry Christmas to all you. Merry Christmas there, Matty B. How you doing?
Oh, Merry Christmas, Al. I'm doing well. I trust you had a fun day with family and friends.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was good. We're remarking backstage that you said Christmas is like a roller coaster ride. You wait in line for 3 hours and boop, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to thank everybody else for joining us. Looks like everybody's rolling in here right now. Daniel Barry, how you doing? Always first to comment. Merry Christmas yourself, pal. Um, Maddie, we were just talking right before it started, and you asked me a simple question. I'll ask the same question to you
Yeah.
and to the question to the people. And welcome, guys. If you can't find us, we are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram right now, as well as you can find us on eopsports.com. Um, Merry Christmas there, Ben. Um, does this game make you feel better in any which way? I'm not talking about totally like
Yeah.
these Eagles are back, but do you feel better?
So just simply put, do I feel better? That's
In any
breaking
in
the
any
ice.
aspect of any of the game.
No. How can you? How can you leave this game thinking that? I mean, was anybody else wondering what the breakdown was going to be on the final drive by the Tyrod Taylor led Giants there? And I said this to you: if the Giants were less giant, they would have won this game today. No, this game does not make me feel any better. And if it makes anybody out there feel any better, put down the eggnog and step away.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the snake bitten issues I see with this team. Because take away some of those turnovers, it's probably a much more of a blowout win. But it's just this team, and I think Chris said it here earlier, ugly win. And I think we have to understand that this season is going. That's going to be the motto of this season is ugly. It's never going to be pretty. Anything they do, win, lose, or draw, it's going to be ugly.
Listen, and I agree with that, but I'm tired of hearing that. I heard it all season long. Where they can't blow anybody, they can't blow them all out all the time. I understand that, but during the 4 game losing, or was it 3 game, whatever it was, 3 game losing streak, everybody wanted to make excuses why they were losing, but we're not going to make excuses for their style of winning, and I just don't get that. Ugly win, yes, but to sit here and think. To actually fathom the fact that they deserve to win this game against anybody other than the New York Giants, you're fooling yourselves. I mean, that's just the reality.
Mike's chiming in there, and Mike's saying Eagles still don't have the dog in them, and I'll agree with some parts of it. I saw a little bit more dog today, but just there is still some mental hurdle that this team needs to overcome. I'm saying that. Listen, I think the thought process of this season was come in, have this stellar offense, which we should have,
Yeah.
and deal with a mediocre defense, and just let them pile up wins and get past the defensive woes. And if the defense does play well, it's cherry on the top, icing on the cake. However, what you want to eat your dessert. But when the offense is struggling internally and just like I said, if I were to say if I was trying to find any good out of this game, there was some pluses like for like let's DeAndre Swift, the running,
Mhm.
the turnover, this pick six on them. I don't know if you saw that. You saw the Dallas Goddard kind of trip, false slip, whatever you want to call it, on his pattern, which left that ball wide open for the pick six, which led to um, led to the 7 points for the Giants ultimately. Is that snake bitten, or is that the play that we're expecting?
Well, you got to look at it a little bit more holistically. It wasn't up. It wasn't like up to that point. The Eagles were running a flawless offensive attack. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. There's something wrong with Jalen Hurts. There's some straight up. He is way. He's sitting in the pocket, staring down his receivers. He is not the same quarterback that he was last year. And the reason is I don't know. But then he commits to horse collar. That was a horse collar, right? I mean, do we agree that that was a horse collar? I mean, do you agree with that one, Al? That was a horse collar.
It's not a horse collar.
Okay, it was a horse collar, but anyway, just those mental type of mistakes. Jalen Hurts. This team is going to go only as far as Jalen Hurts' arm or legs can take them this year. It's understood at this point. The defense is not going to win many games for them, and Jalen Hurts is going to be the X factor. And right now, he hasn't been the X factor. He's been very suspect. And there was way too many mental mistakes in this game. What is Kenny Gainwell doing calling a fair catch on the 10-yard line on a kickoff? I don't get that. Then there was the
Well,
Scott Zacchaeus play where they ran into each other and then the fumble. You can't. That is football being played by a team that's not prepared for this particular stage of the season, in my opinion.
I don't know if you want to say prepared and Pat, welcome in, bud. Merry Christmas to you,
Oh,
bud.
there you are, Pat. Hey.
Um, it is now. Listen, I will agree with you. They can't play, and I'm
Same
going
to
to
you,
be the first
gentlemen.
one to say is the O line play has to get better, and usually that's our bread and butter. But you bring the full blitz, they don't know how to block, and that's sometimes not having that big back is what's going to cost you in the long run.
Yeah, now you're right. The old line played. I mean, there. It was said during the broadcast. There was moments in this game where the reason why you get excited about watching this team because it's on display. There was times they were making, I mean, just spot on plays. That third down and 20 pass from Hurts to Brown was just a thing of beauty. I mean, that's the type of stuff we got used to seeing last year that we have not seen consistently this year. It is very frustrating in all aspects, to include the offensive line. What was my lot of flag like three, 4 times tonight for false starts? Jason Kelsey, another penalty tonight. So those are very concerning things for this team.
Pat, you there, bud?
Listen, all around, it's concerning. Listen, this isn't. Yeah, I'm here. You got me?
You're on like
Yeah,
a
a little
delay.
delayed. Yeah, we got you
Is
though.
it this slow? Hello?
There you are.
This is what happened. The way I looked at it is just that, this was a team you're supposed to mop up. So either way, the Eagles are going to catch heat regardless. This is a inferior opponent. You're supposed to mop the floor with them. Tommy DeVito got smashed up in that first half, and he went from Tommy Colt Cuts to Tommy Smashed Potato. I don't know. I mean, he didn't look good at all. And listen, this is his second game in a row where he didn't look good. They tried something new. They threw Tyrone Taylor at the Eagles. Tyler, and of course the Birds, from years not looking at this kid, had something for him. And then that second half, man, it just the Eagles shot themselves in the foot consistently. Whether it's the fumble, whether it's the pick six. I mean, my fingers starting to tighten up really good yet during that second half. So this Eagles team has a lot more questions than answers. And to Matty B's point, yeah, I don't know if of our quarterback MVP, if you want to call him that. I don't know if he's all there right now. I don't. I think there's miscommunications all over the field with him. I saw miscommunication. You saw it, but he turned garbage into gold with that. The one hike that Kelsey threw to him went way over his shoulders. I mean, there's miscommunications. Him, Goddard, guys not planting their feet, not being in the right position, him overthrowing people. I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly by default. And now, granted, he did have a nice throw to AJ Brown in the second half. There was the run and play and Swift kind of like took over for that, fourth quarter.
Listen, and we're gonna get into it because some of those messages there we just saw while Pat was talking. They, Jalen is not the same. Jalen's is not the same. Jalen is definitely off. Progression is slow. Just not what we're used to seeing from last year. I don't know if the injury is slowing him down or it's just the sophomore slump or whatever it is. It isn't the same AJ Brown or Jalen Hurts. But I want to remind you guys that it being the holiday season and you guys are probably still some Christmas parties to go to. Maybe you forgot a little something for somebody. You can check cherrystickets.com. Check cherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Sports Leaders, they got it. No hidden fees, great prices, and use the awesome promo code EOP10. EOP10 will save you 10% off over at cherrystickets.com. Again, sports concerts, theaters, you name it. EOP10 will save you 10% off. Already great prices at cherrystickets.com. Um, let's see. Let's get back into some of these. Mike, I'm going to go back to him because Mike started it. I've been saying this. There's something wrong with Jalen since game one. He goes through progression slow. I mean, this team needs to run and not depend on Jalen's arm. And it's funny, it looked like they started doing that at the fourth quarter finally. I don't know what clicked, what made them decide to maybe run the ball a little bit more then and just let DeAndre Swift do what DeAndre Swift does best. What do you think, Matty B?
So listen, I agree with the mantra of we got to have a running attack. But to sit here and say that this team is not going to win a Super Bowl unless Jalen Hurts takes us there, again, you're confusing reality with the misconception of what this Eagle season has been all year. Jalen Hurts has got to be an MVP type candidate for us to win a Super Bowl. There's too many glaring problems on our defense to try to justify long sustained drives up and down the field, holding the ball for 17 minutes. It's not going to be able to happen with the way this defense is. So Jalen Hurts has to be that explosive type player he was last year. And to your point, Al, it's not a sophomore slump. He's a junior. It's not his second year in the league. I mean. It's his third. No, I don't know what you mean because I'm tired of making excuses for this guy. We paid him the money that he got. Now I want to see the performance from him. And so far this year, he has not.
I'll agree. It has not been worth the payment yet. And we all know quarterbacks get paid. It isn't always the next day or the next year in this case. But like I said, I'm not out on the Jalen Hurts train, but he definitely has to work on his progression and his timing. And the hero ball. The hero ball has to stop. And according to Angry Ant, Pat needs to turn his shirt down a couple notches here. It's blinding some of the viewers. Mike says we have no MVP quarterback. That is for sure. MVP conversation is definitely over at this point.
Yeah.
For him. I mean, but again, I'm looking around the league. I'm seeing a lot of different things. People going through struggles. I mean, people going through quarterback like underwear. I mean, let's be honest. Having your starting quarterback who started at the beginning of the season working right now, that's still kind of that's a luxury luxury that most people do not have right now. Pat, we saw before the interception earlier in this drive, great run by Swift. The Eagles then turned from the run and passed 10 times in a row, then interception. Why? The interception was on Dallas Goedert, though. If he didn't slip, that was a catch. Again, guys are going to slip on the field. I don't know if I'm going to blame anybody, but it's that snake bitten issue that we've been dealing with.
Look, it's tough, you know what I mean? But like I said, there's just way too many issues. Like again, the defense is not bad. Like it held the Giants to only 3 points in that first half. What happened was in that second half, the offense shot themselves in the foot so much. Again, the fatigue just wound up burning this team out. It just happens all the time. The first half defense is solid. The second half offense was just absolutely sloppy. I mean, going from the studio to home within one quarter, it was bad. It was bad all around. I mean, again, the fumbles, the interceptions. It's just bad. There's, like I said, miscommunications on that offensive line. Again, this comes back to Brian Johnson. Whether you and Nick Sirianni's got to be in there. You can't let Brian Johnson just be the pinata all the time. Nick Sirianni has to do some answering. Like, this is his guy. And now he's on Howard Rosen's radar. Listen, they stripped, they gave Matt Patricia all the defensive core call duties. Now someone's going to come and replace him, not sooner rather than later, because he's not fitting. He's not being complimentary to Jalen Hurts. It's just not. And, we just saw, and I'm not trying to say I want Shane Steichen back. We saw the big difference.
I'm saying that. I want Shane Steichen back.
We saw the big difference last year.
Well, listen, I think Shane Steichen is definitely going to be a lot more missed, and we already know. I mean, look, we've said it before. Justin Herbert wasn't the same when Shane Steichen left. Jalen Hurts isn't the same. You got Gardner Minshew lighting up the NFL in Indianapolis. It's just he gets the most out of his quarterbacks, and I think it's all but proven at this point. But I mean, let's look at some other aspects here. The defensive line wasn't that great today. There was plenty of missed opportunities. This should have been a 4+ sack game. I'm not seeing anything from them about them getting any better. And you got two guys who are considered monsters, and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and they are not producing. Brandon Graham, definitely his age. You can see it. I mean, he's slower, but he's not that much faster in any which way. Fletcher Cox has his moments too, but it's just against this, let's call it garbage O line in New
Yeah.
York. They look terrible.
No, they do. And Al, to your point, I'm going to go backtrack a little bit and I'll respond to that. The Jackson interception, I don't care if Goddard slipped or not. They both broke on the ball at the same time. It would have been a 50-50 ball at the very best. To say it's going to be a catch, you can't really say it. Say it would be a pick six. You can't really say that either. It would have been a battle for the ball. So
Sure.
they both broke on the ball at the same time, and whatever reality is there. But as far as the defense goes, you're right. They're just one step. They're one step off. They're one step. Where they lead the league in almost sacks, but unfortunately, they're keeping a track of that, and that doesn't really help us out. And is that personnel, though? I mean, at what point do we stop saying that it's scheme? At what point do we kind of blame some of the personnel? At what point do we remember what the vaunted thing about this defensive line was? It was the rotational ability to move players in and players out. We released Eric Barnett earlier this season, which again is not a big thing. He's a bust as a first-round draft pick. Howie Roseman, baby. And but you know what? He was a body you could rotate in and off that defensive line. And that's what we were priding ourselves on, was that ability to rotate people in and out. I'm not seeing much rotation, and I'm seeing a lot of missed opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunity. And listen, that was one of the key things in 2017 that led your Eagles to a Super Bowl was the depth, as the rotation, the depth.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of money, a lot of stock in the number ones, and you have that drop off in the number twos. Injury has not been our friend, and let's not forget, the parity in this league this year. I think the point that keeps people optimistic, and the point that makes people even angrier, is that if you look around the league, if this team was close to what it was last year, not even last year, just close to what it was last year, we should be running away with it.
Absolutely. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And I think that's where any optimism that's out there is still out there. And then and the anger and the angst against this team is saying it's right in front of you. Like you said, it's the Giants. This should be a giant win for this team. It should have, and like I said, I'm like, I talked to Pat about this. I'm on Sunday. I said, I am in a wait and see mentality with this team. I am just letting things happen, see where it goes. I am not buying in. I'm not jumping off. For 40 years I've been an Eagles fan, and for 40 years I've been watching this team, and I've seen the good and I've seen the bad, and I've been through it thick and thin. So I'm just going to see where it takes us.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wish I could be there. I wish. Yeah, no. I mean, again, like I said, I'm a little bit of delay here with this laptop, trying to work on all these bugs here. I should just stayed in the studio, but listen, come dealing with this Eagles team. I just feel like this is who they are, and I try to, and I don't want to go talk about. We had this debate yesterday morning. But to me, I mean, I can't feel good about this team moving forward. I just can't. I mean, this is a Giants team. This time last year, you held them to 7 points in a playoff round. You couldn't do that today. You can't. You gave that defense, you gave that offense 28 points down to their third string quarterback. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That team is looking for ways to lose. And what have we learned about the Eagles in the division games this year? It's been nothing but dog fights. Twice with Washington, once with Dallas, once with the Giants now. I don't know what's expected in 2 weeks when we go up to North New Jersey. Granted, if you feel good about adding the stats against the, again, this is now going to be 11 years where the Giants have yet to come in South Philly and beat us. If you're feeling good about that, great. Terrific. But, again, there's some major flaws from last year and this year. And I don't know if this team has what it takes to survive, a second round of playoff. I don't know. And, like I said, all this past week, we've heard about the rumors and, about the team, whether they're hungry enough. Part of me believes that this team's not even hungry enough anymore. Do they still? I mean, do they want this anymore? You've seen it, clear as day. I mean, Jalen Hurts, where he got frustrated, he did the horse collar. He's getting frustrated with this team. You saw the little action after he threw that pick six. He's getting frustrated. Things are starting to build up on this team, and I believe wholeheartedly, Father Time has caught up with this O line, and now we don't have a plan B to get out of here.
Well, all right. Listen, I believe that there was plenty of dog in this team in the beginning of the season because they always seem like they're ready to fight. But adversity has kicked them back, kind of
Yeah.
pushed back on them. And that's where we're going to see if there is anything left in this team over the next, I guess, 2 more games now. If they can continue to build off some things, I believe in some of the comments, some of the things that people, if you were to look for positives, would take away. They were expanding their targets. They were running the ball a little bit more when the time was appropriate. But they should have been doing that more. So, but yeah, seeing this team down, seeing the horse collar from Jalen Hurts. Now that was a horse collar.
So was the first one. Come on, man.
That was a horse collar.
Wait, do I still have that in here?
But
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that was Jalen Hurts showing frustration, and that's where the Giants were winning. They were in their head. Like any team that comes in or they go to, they seem to be in their head. And I'm talking about when you go see a team, you go with PhillySportsTrips.com. That's right. You go with PhillySportsTrips.com. If you want to see if there's any dog left in the fight here, you want to go to the Eagles-Giants game one more time, January 7th. Your opportunities go with PhillySportsTrips.com. Maybe you want to go when it's a little warmer somewhere else. Yeah, spring training is available. They have multiple trips available. March 1st to the 4th is a great place to hit Clearwater. Still warm and beautiful. Hit the beaches of Clearwater in March. Or maybe you want to hit a cold outdoor MetLife Stadium to watch the Flyers take on the Devils in February 17th for the Outdoor Stadium Series. What a great time. You got to check it out. PhillySportsTrips.com. Again, if you're heading to that Christmas party, oops, you forgot something. PhillySportsTrips.com is an easy way of getting out of that jam. So go to PhillySportsTrips.com and tell them EOP sent you.
Christmas party, 8:00 at night on Christmas Day. Hey, I guess, I'm not going to judge.
Christmas the day after, and sometimes even the weekend after. You have different sides of the family. Or maybe you just want to get something with, for yourself. You
Or
go to PhillySportsTrips.com.
How about a New Year's basket of cheer?
There you go. However you want to do it, make sure you tell them EOP sent you. Let's hit some of these messages, guys. People are joining us on Christmas, so we should allow them to join in. Let's see. Nick Sirianni should be fired and clean house. If the Eagles don't make it back to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Buccaneers fired Tony Dungy and got John Gruden, who got the Bucs over the hump. I mean, listen, guys. I mean, it's sometimes hard to fire guys. I mean, a guy who three years as a head coach, 3 years got your team to the playoffs, and one of those years to the Super Bowl. I get it. We're angry. We're not happy. We want change, but I mean, you can't just clean house because who's going to want to come here? What good coaches want to come here if you're going to just start cleaning house in that fashion? But to the other
side of that, though, who's going to want to come here when they have a GM here that doesn't address linebacker, that doesn't address safety, that doesn't address the cornerbacks, that doesn't seem to have that kind of thing about them? So who's going to come here for that when they're always going to be dealing with the defense that's starting out at the second level anyway? So there's the other side of the coin to that as well.
No, I agree with you. And my point is, I'm not saying that things shouldn't change. I'm just saying making a complete,
that's how you change. You change from the top. You don't cut Zacchaeus and say, okay, we've changed. No, you fire Sirianni or you fire Howie Roseman. That's how you say you've changed.
Yeah, listen, there's making changes and then there's making drastic changes.
Come on,
drastic changes, my friend.
What are we afraid of? Does Howie have something on everybody as an Eagles fan? Does he have blackmailing, incriminating evidence against everybody out there but me?
Who are you replacing him with?
Listen, that's a great question. And you know what? I don't know the answer to that because I haven't gotten that far into the process. But here's the thing. At this point, it's just a new voice, a different voice, a different philosophy. Howie hired this head coach. Nick Sirianni didn't win no contest to come here. He wasn't the best available. Howie hired him because he could control him because he was a first-year coach and he wouldn't give him any pushback. So the blaming Nick Sirianni, and rightfully so, but really he's Howie's puppet. So why aren't we blaming Howie for this? I just don't get that. Why does he come up with this free pass? I don't understand. You talk about free passes for Sirianni. What the hell does Howie Roseman got going on, man? He's got like immunity.
I think Howie's getting scrutiny. Don't get me wrong. I think he's getting scrutiny. He is. I mean, people are talking about it. I hear it all the time. I don't care if it's on the radio, nationally, locally, if it's in print. They're seeing that his lack of, or his too many eggs in the basket mentality he took maybe this year, that has played in an unfavorable way for the Eagles. Let me hear some more of these comments. Jeff saying, "Yeah, they won. That's what they still stink against a bad team that they should have beat by 20." Hurts with 18 turnovers this year compared to 8 last year. Yeah, big difference.
Absolutely.
Jeff should be one, not one. Okay, sorry. Yeah. The team was in the perfect position to put 60 minutes together, and it couldn't. And who is Sirianni arguing with on 4th and 7 on the last play of the game? Let's see. How can we go to 72 sacks last year and 40 this year? That's a big problem. That's what I'm pointing out here. And I feel like the defensive line isn't getting enough enough blame. Because
is that scheme or personnel?
You would think it would have to be scheme, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe it's too aged personnel. Pat was talking about the O-line being aged. I think maybe Father Time is catching up. You got a young guy who is maybe hitting that rookie wall. You have Jordan Davis, who shouldn't be hitting the rookie wall. You got Fletcher Cox. You got Brandon Graham. Guys are all getting older. Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat, I haven't heard much about him lately. Milton Williams here and there, but nothing crazy. Hassan Reddick got called for that, which listen, it's roughing the passer. I'm not going to argue the fact. My part is I don't know how you stop yourself in midair when you're falling, but hey, that's just me. But that is a big problem. Let's see here. We got a couple more. This team lost its hunger after the Super Bowl loss. Let's see. Scott, my dreams and aspirations. Zacchaeus, my ADHD. Matty B, here we is what we do for the next season. We trade Hurts for Cardella for picks. I mean, again. Is that what we're going to do every time?
Why is that so? Okay, why is that so laughable? This is exactly what played out in 2017. And if you watched my show on Saturday, me and Kyle talked about it. Joe Giglio, who I don't like to give credit for a damn thing, he called it. He wanted to move on from Carson Wentz in 2018. He thought that he was not going to ever relive that MVP type season, and he didn't. And now again, hindsight being what it is, here we are right back in the same type of situation where you have a quarterback who is not, he's not a sophomore slump. Let's get that. He's now, getting deeper into his career here. Is this really the Jalen Hurts that we should be dealing with? Is this what he really is versus what he was last year? And should we be thinking about potentially moving on from him if that's the situation? Because Howie's not going to be able to I don't think he's going to be able to move off of that contract again. No one's going to fall for that again. So why not? Why not entertain it if things blow up this year and they don't win a Super Bowl?
Listen, you can't. Every time a quarterback has a mediocre year, just throw it all away. Like, are we going to do that every time? So every time we go to the Super Bowl, if you don't win, you're going to cut the guy the next year?
Yeah, but every year we seem to give the quarterback the big contract every time. That's what I don't understand. Okay, you're right. Can we get rid of a quarterback every season? No, possibly not. Then stop giving the guy the goddamn big contract because of one good season. So we got to stop one, stop the other out. If they're going to continue to give these big contracts, they're going to open themselves up to this other side too.
I say you stop the contract. You don't stop.
Yeah, and that's
the guy.
Yeah, but you can't do that now, Al. I mean, the guy, right? He was runner up for MVP. He took us to the Super Bowl. Listen, the expectations change. You can't play You can't have one bad mediocre year. You can't have that. Not if you're going to consider yourself an elite quarterback. You want to consider yourself top 3 every year? No, there's no room for errors. You can't have
hold on,
you
hold on,
can't
hold on, hold on, hold
be
on,
a backup. You can't be.
You got listen. Hear me out for a second. So Aaron Rodgers had a Super Bowl once in his career, and since then he's been MVP every year. Did I miss something? I mean, you
So
can't sit here and tell me that every year every quarterback is
no, you're
shut
right.
down like this.
I'm not trying to say that, but you know what? The cash, or you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has got one Super Bowl title to his career, right? Well, that's one more than Jalen Hurts has. I'll give you that right there. Also, it's not necessarily like so to even think that Aaron Rodgers' career is even relatable to Jalen Hurts' career at this stage is ridiculous. With one, they haven't been in the league as long as they have. No, but you're gonna use that, so I'm gonna go with that. My thing is this: Jalen Hurts would be on the final year of his rookie deal this year. They could franchise him for 2024 and see what's up with that. They didn't have to back up the Brinks truck to him at the point where they did. Everyone's going to say, oh, yes, they did. No, they didn't. You got a lame duck manager in this town that's going year to year. I mean, why can't we do it with the lame duck quarterback? If he's a true great quarterback, it shouldn't matter. He should be auditioning for the big contract anyway. I'm just saying, if you want to stop the narrative of we can't consistently fire quarterbacks because they have one bad year, then stop spending the money on them too soon. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what about this was his contract year? And it's the same thing. Like, okay, contract year, they pay him. You pay him, here you go. He has the same year. Then whose fault is it then?
Yeah, but in 2022, he had the MVP year. This season would have been the final year of that deal. They could have franchised him for 24 to see if this was the reality or if 22 was the reality.
Let's be honest, franchising does not happen very often.
But it can be used. That's my point. It can be used. I'm not saying
it can't be used, but there's a reason it's not used often. And why is that, Matty B?
It's because of the ad. They're going to pay them the average of whatever the quarterbacks are making. I get that. But listen, but
also it's the discontent that it brings with it. Ask Dallas how that worked out for them for so long.
Okay, I get the discontent, but now we're stuck with potentially another Carson Wentz on our hands. So
you're telling me that, let me ask this question. You're telling me if they, for some reason, said, oh, let's have an idea. Let's trade Jalen Hurts right now on the offseason, right. I'm saying. Let's trade Jalen Hurts right now. You don't think they'll get compensation back? You got compensation back for a guy who looked like he was broken.
Jalen Hurts they will. Absolutely will. But my point is, if we don't
do us a loss.
What do you mean? But you're just saying don't do that. You can't keep doing that. You can't keep trading these quarterbacks. Your philosophy is to stay pat with him. I'm saying that might not be the right thing because we got burned with it once before. That's all I'm saying. That Jalen Hurts does not deserve.
Somebody broke your heart, and then you're not going to let anybody else in.
My heart, man. I'm just saying.
I mean, like I get it. Let it go.
No, see, but I learned from. See, this is we all learn from our mistakes, or I do at least. Except for apparently, I'm the only one. Everyone else just goes in this thing blindly, like it's never happened before, and we'll just deal with it. But we keep making the same mistakes, or I should say, this GM keeps making the same mistakes, but yet he keeps getting a free pass. I don't understand the reason either, folks. If somebody can figure that out, let me know. And by the way, I do have a comprehensive plan on who I would replace Howie Roseman with, but I'm not going to get into that.
Can I ask you guys a question though? I mean, speaking of Hurts, did he throw a deep ball at all tonight? I didn't see not one deep ball. I saw the Deacon dunks. You know what I mean? I didn't see one deep ball. You know what I mean? When did he go deep?
I'm not. That doesn't bother me all the time.
No, it doesn't bother me.
I mean, I understand. Have you ever coached anybody? When you have some guy who is struggling, you don't keep throwing him out there to make big mistakes because with deep balls comes big risk, and with big risk comes sometimes big problems. So you let them run the ball, just like we did in 2021. All right, we were trying to find Jalen, trying to see what Jalen can do. Let him learn the speed of the game. Okay, well, how do you do that? They use the term slowing it down. How do you slow it down? You run the ball and you let them get winnable, smaller victories. Because they were doing that, Pat. They didn't need to throw 25, 40 yards down the field.
Yeah, but Al, he's got two playmakers with him, and he's got a decent tight end. That's why he's got to extend plays with his legs because he can't read a defense. He's struggling to read what's coming at him. He should be there.
Listen,
you see it tonight. He beat the one-on-one coverages around the outside.
It's the Seattle Postgame show right now. You would be yelling about us throwing a 25, 30-yard ball when it wasn't necessary. What
He's
is it,
right there,
Pat?
Pat. I
What
got
is
to
it,
give him
Pat?
that.
Pick a lane and stick it.
Yeah, I personally was kind of happy that they didn't go deep ball. Honestly, he wasn't playing hero ball, and to me, by dinking and dunking, he was taking what the defense was giving him, and that's was one thing that we haven't been seeing much out of him this year. So on that aspect, I was happy, but his decision making still was very poor. He was staring receivers down. It's just there's something wrong with him, and I don't know what it is. And
I agree with you. He is definitely not 100% Jalen Hurts. You are going to get no fight out of me. I think that's the one thing that all three of us can agree with. But I won't agree with that he is done, broken, not going to be able to get fixed. Maybe it's going to take an off season to do it. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think what you guys feel like, oh, it's time to get rid of Howie, get rid of Nick Sirianni, get rid of all the coaching staff, get rid of anybody over the age of 29.
What are you talking about? It's not working. How long are we supposed to ride this thing out? Howie's been here for about 30 years. How much more do you need to see out of him to realize what he is? Nick Sirianni is okay. He took the Eagles to the playoffs 3 straight times. Again, what does that trophy look like? Because I guess they have a whole at the NovaCare complex. It's not working with him either. He's too soft. He's not an in-game adjustment type of guy. How much more do we got to see? He's lost the biggest he's lost on the biggest stage of the season, and now he can't deal with adversity, apparently. What else more do you need to see from him, Al?
Listen, I mean, he dealt with. Listen, you guys have this thing with the whole year has just been a complete crap show. I listen. Has it been the most beautiful, pretty show? No, not at all. But to sit there and say that this season has been terrible is short sighted. It's tunnel vision. You're just seeing. You're not looking at it in a whole. And you might feel like you got robbed of something this year. And if you feel like that, I go to Dave Cherry. Dave Cherry takes care of everything. CherryInjuryLaw.com, workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. Go to CherryInjuryLaw.com or call Dave directly at 610-565-0300. Again, that phone number is 610-565-0300. Do you like that segue, Matty B?
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm the king of the segues. All right, guys, it's getting a little late into it, and I want to hit up a couple more of the last few comments here, and I'm gonna let everybody go enjoy their Christmas with everybody. But I want to thank all the people. I guess we had a lot of people who needed a little time to let some stress out tonight. So repeat, Jalen had one good year in the NFL, and when he was still under a rookie contract. Yes. We had offensive continuity today until we seem to have started forcing the ball to A.J. Brown. Maybe that's a coincidence, but there's something that I noticed. And I agree with that. It's spread the ball around, run the ball. Like this team does well with all teams do it. It's like the most simplistic football thought process from grade school and up. Why did we give Grandpa Slay a big contract just to do nothing but complain? I'll be honest with you, I was a little weary on that contract too.
And you're not going to be able to back out of that because there's going to be too much dead money on that one next year. He's got to be back unless you trade him.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see. They're there. We're 11-4 through an 18 game season, and this team responding through the Boo Birds. Great weekend again. Every year it is our own reality. It's a book still being written. The offensive minds on this team are just not strong right now. That's the mistake. They know it. And Rand here, Jalen Hurts reminds me of Rick Mir to be the Eagles quarterback because he could throw the deep ball with one eye and read a defense when Hurts can't read a defense. Listen, I agree. He's struggling with the reading of the defense, but again, I'm not throwing him away. I don't see that as a throwaway. To me, what's the difference? His big parts of his contract don't kick in until the following year anyway. So what's the difference? It's an extension. It wasn't a whole new contract. 31 or 32 are going to fail every year. However, if something is wrong with Hurts, then stop putting so much on the dude. Run the ball, put him under center. Yeah, that's another thing. Put him under center is something I don't know why they don't do. I just the shotgun thing constantly.
Yeah.
That annoys me. I'll give you that. Let's see. And Pat, I want to thank you for joining us. I know you got to take care of the Sixers. You guys can catch Pat again later for the Sixers post game. Pat, take it easy.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, same. Listen, guys, have a great Christmas. Go Birds. One thing I got to point out, Al. Not everyone's like Mr. Turner, okay? Trey Turner. Not everyone can just have this magical turnaround, okay? Some pieces are just bad. You got to get rid of them. All right. I love you, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one. And I agree with Pat. Not everybody can have a pat him on the back. You'll get better at it, buddy. But good players can, and that's why it works for Mr. Trey Turner. And I think Jalen Hurts is a good player. Rick Kotite and Ray Rose led teams gave me more hope than what I'm seeing with this team playing. Rick who? It may be because he's 6'1", but I don't know. Merry Christmas, guys. All right, Steve, thank you. And Joey Wood, EOP is built different. Not even Christmas stops the Eagles post game.
Right.
Yeah, nah. But Matty B, parting shots, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just to kind of sum up what I was saying, I'm not necessarily giving up on Jalen Hurts either. I just don't understand the philosophy around. I mean, we all had. I know I did. I was like, you're paying him now, but I get it. I'm not saying to give up on him either, but I'm also saying that stop wondering why things are the way they are because we have people here that are making them that way. But as far as this game went. No, it does not make me feel any better than the situation was heading into this game. And I don't think many people are going to come out of this game feeling any better. But obviously, a win is a win is a win. We're now one full game up on the Cowboys for the NFC East. I believe now the destiny is fully back in our own hands, at least for the division.
Mm-hmm.
Conference might be out of
and
sight.
We're tied with the Niners right now. And let's see, depending on how they fare. Which is going to be, and Matt, you said this, and I'm going to give you, even though you might not be a Ravens fan or a Niners fan, you're going to see probably the best of the best football, hopefully the best of the best football right now.
Yeah, and so we are still a million years away from the Super Bowl, and but it is getting late, and it's not too early anymore. So
yeah,
I guess you got to take it step by step, and this was a win.
That's how I look at it.
At the end of the day.
Steve saying Matty's tired of Groundhog's Day. I don't blame him. I think the only chance is being fully healthy. Listen, it definitely does put the, at least get like Avonte Maddox back could really give this defense an upgrade, not a huge upgrade.
Who was the starting line? Who was the other starting linebacker? What was his name? Vander? What was his name?
Oh, Van. Not Van Heusen. I keep saying. I know, but yeah, I mean they're on their 6th and 7th guy.
7th starting combination of linebackers.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas to you, Mike. It's always good to talk to you. What are you watching? Sixers Heat or Ravens Niners? Well, the beauty of 2023 is we can watch both at the same time. There, Quinn.
Yeah, but without Butler and Embiid, why not? Let's go to the Ravens. Niners.
Yeah. I wonder if those guys just took Christmas Day off. What do you think?
I think they did. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I think I'm going to be watching the Niners Ravens game a little bit more, just because, like Matty B said, without the 2 stars, I'm going to keep my eye on the Sixers game. But I'm definitely going to have probably the football game on the big screen, and then on the iPad I'll have the Sixers game, to be honest with you, Quinn.
Yeah.
Other than that, Matty B, Merry Christmas. Always thanks for the hard work as usual. You and Pat, guys, everybody here at EOP, we appreciate it. Other than that, guys, thank you. He's Matty B. I'm Big Al, and we're out of here.